Hello, everybody. This is Wolf, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VI Randomizer Worlds Collide. This will be week 5 of the ladder series. We have 4 runners today, but first, today I'm joined by Karan. How you doing, Karan?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's great to be here with all of y'all today. I am looking forward to a great race as we're putting the finishing touches on getting everything ready to get started. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have heard a little bit of a teaser as to what to expect, but I am not being spoiled on anything, so I'm going to enjoy it live with all of you.
Yes, I did do this run last night. For those of you that might have followed me last night, I know I see Tiger in the chat there. I cried a little bit. I ran out of tissues. That's for sure.
Uh-oh.
Um, but no, it should be a very, very interesting seed. We'll talk about it a little more when we get a little closer. But for our runners tonight, we got the Schwantz, we got Sid, who every time I ever commentate, it seems we have Sid always running. Nuke Kitty, we'll probably just say Kitty and Elastoid.
Definitely some fine runners lining up at the start gate tonight. I believe I've watched Sid. I'm pretty sure I've watched The Last Toy, but I don't believe I've watched Schwantz or Kitty. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I did see Schwantz talking earlier about a seed that they were working on, that they were getting a better time than I could dream of, even running a rough seed. So definitely things are I think things are looking up for all of them, and it looks like we've got pretty much everybody. I think just about everybody but Elastoid is ready to go, and Elastoid is almost ready to go. So we should be good very shortly.
Yep, and yep, the hashtags do match in the first 3 here. Once we get Elastoid up and running, final checks and be good to go. Now, for these ladder series races that we do, they're pretty much what you normally would have if you just go to our site. That's ff6wc.com. You can randomize your own seeds and like that. Now, in those seeds, if you just do the basic one, there's only 2 character start. For ladders, we do 3 character start. The only other flags we have, this is a standard progressive 2, level 3, 5, 5, and it's a like I said 3 character start. And all the stats for all of the characters that are 100% vanilla. The difference though is that their secondary skill is going to be different besides fight and whatever the other one's going to be. And that is the correct hashtag on the last one. So we should be good to go. We just gotta wait for the racers to ready up in Discord.
Yep, and it looks like they are pretty much good to go. We're getting all the good lucks being tossed out in chat, so I think we should be underway shortly. So looking forward to it.
All right. Now there's no dragons. Dragons are optionals. Just for experience or maybe a cool item if you need it. So it's 6 characters. You start with 3, so you're gonna get half of them to begin with before you get to the KT entrance, and you get 10 espers.
Yep, sounds like a pretty good time to be had by all, I think, if nothing unpleasant hits them, although of course that's part of the fun for us watching is to see if something unpleasant does hit them.
Well, these seats are hand selected by Javinator, who is running. Who we want to thank. Shout out to him. We want to thank him for helping run these streams. Also, by the way, working in the background, we have Naku and Brianna. Brianna's doing the restream and helping with the tracking
Nothing.
along with Naku.
Yep, and Saber Wolf is having to put up with me in the booth, so
Oh,
I am sorry.
now this isn't the only randomizer you do, though. You're telling me earlier that you actually do 2 other randomizers too.
That is correct. I've done very poorly at races and done only slightly better at commentary for Final Fantasy Randomizer and Free Enterprise. So I keep a little busy.
Yeah, I this is the only randomizer I do. I would not say I'm the best runner wise. I'm averaging about 2 minutes and about 20 seconds right. Two 2 minutes 20 seconds. Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes. There we go.
You'd be
For
an
these
excellent runner at
races,
2 minutes.
man, I would just be just run Narsh and go straight to KT. uh, but no, I can run. I can get to the end most times, but I am nowhere near these 90 minute flat guys that we had, guys and gals we had.
Yeah.
So
Neither am I. I mean, I joined this community in December, and I started out with the first KGP and found myself doing some of the seeds in something like 5 hours or so. And I've gotten much better since, fortunately. So, well, now with that, we are officially underway, and the stream, I think, will reflect that in just a few seconds. So, hooray!
all right, so we're the stream now. Once again, we want to remind everybody that the timer, whenever it starts here on your screen, will be the unofficial time, obviously. The official time will be the times that these guys have, all girls, on their side panel that they have probably on the stream. You can watch these racers individually at these. I need to say that in chat. Sorry, everybody. I just put F's in chat for my mistake. All right, so again, you can watch these runners on their own individual screens. They'll probably have their timers up, tracking their times as they go along. So those will be the official times that will be entered into the ladder at the end. Once again, the timer you see just started now in the middle of your screen will be the rough time.
All right, so it looks like we have a Strago, Edgar, and Shadow start. So plenty of potential checks. We've got most of our runners are doing the usual treasure hunt because you want to make sure that they are good to go. I did see at least one of the runners with health, or one of the characters with health. I didn't quite catch which one, though.
Health is on Edgar.
Okay.
Also, there should be, I believe, an Esper and Kitty right now because I believe the first, they already went to the Gao's father's house, and I believe that was an Esper start there. So I believe Kitty should have Esper right now.
Ooh.
Yes, there is an experience egg in returners. Unfortunately, I caught that a little late, and there's also a flame shield in returners as well, as Kitty just found.
Oh boy. Oh, that helps certainly. The XP egg, as the quote goes, eggs win seeds. Flame shields don't do too bad a job either.
No, but we'll find out, see if there's any other kind of fire spells they learn besides that, because what you want to do on your shields is the shield you learn Fire 2 or Ice 2 or Bolt 2, wherever you put it on, and sometimes you want to rotate that through the party depending on how your espers are going. So
right.
Man.
Yeah, I will admit
that background, my God.
Yeah. It does make text a teensy bit difficult, but I mean, Kitty seems to be very comfortable with it, and he very much knows what he's doing with it. So yeah, as people put it, what was it, the Chocobo of Doom or something like that?
Yeah, that's what Tiger is saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Esper was Crusader. It is Bolt 2, Doom, and I believe Life, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a decent one. Doom's going to be important for the late game, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, so everybody's starting to leave Narsh now, and everybody looks like it's heading to returners. So we're having high fives all along the way for the other three.
Oh yes, of course.
That's a Minerva.
Hello. Yeah, that'll definitely help. Just a smidge.
And what was that in relics I saw?
I did notice the Dragoon boots.
Dragon boots are in there. That's
yep.
right.
So if you can find a dragon horn, then, well, you can send Edgar to his natural habitat in the sky.
Yeah, that's one thing about Edgar is, like, on the vanilla at least, he starts with tools, which is okay. Granted, chainsaw and drill are okay even, but in the end, Dragoon Boots and Dragon Horn on his natural spear ability is really good, so.
Right. I will admit, when I initially played through the game, when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, basically, I had no clue about, well, I had no clue, A, that Edgar was a natural jumper and that jumping is good, and B, I did not realize that the chainsaw was maybe not the best thing in the history of ever because it whiffs on bosses that aren't affected by any sort of a doom status, so, but, oh well, that's what you get for playing it when you're a kid.
Definitely. Now, one thing to note is for this starting grouping is that for Edgar, at least, as Swans is about to get his Crusader Esper, is that with Edgar, you get that discount from the Figaro Castle and from South Figaro in the World of Ruin. So it's pretty good. Sell high at some other places, buy a little bit lower in some of these other locations on Figaro for Edgar, so you can save some money by just going into the castle or going into the South Figaro Ruin to
Yeah,
save a little bit of cash.
right. That's true. Yeah, and definitely, I think if I were racing and had half of my brain turned on, which, let's face it, most of the time when I race, probably about a quarter of my brain's going. But yeah, I would usually, especially if I go into Figaro Castle, I'll typically go ahead and just switch Edgar into the front slot so that I don't forget about that, and then just kind of leave him there for the rest of the game because that doesn't particularly matter as far as ATB in this Final Fantasy at least.
Sid taking a page out of Brianna's book by going the underground camera move tunnel in South Figaro.
Yeah, I've seen a few folks do that. I typically don't myself because I'm just too busy running around the streets, I suppose. But yeah, I have seen some folks do that and go ahead and grab the item shop check while they're at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some reason, for me, if when I do South Figaro balance, I always, for some reason, just skip the item shop in South Figaro because it's just so far away from everything else in the town. To look at the items and stuff, I just sometimes just forget, just skip it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that with balance. With Ruin South Figaro, I think it's a little bit better because in Balance Figaro, of course, you have the guy standing there gatekeeping you out of the east entrance. But in Ruin, he's gone, so you can just kind of dash on around.
The other skills, by the way, that we have on our characters here, Strago has Blitz, which, if you think about it, though, Blitz isn't too bad because some of the abilities do use magic power, which is Strago's strong suit. So, for instance, when you get up below in the high enough level to use Aura Bolt and Fire Dance, those actually will do pretty well. And on Shadow, we have Dance, not the greatest in Randomizer, because even the 4 abilities you get to randomly select from when you dance aren't also randomized as well. And I believe the one you start with has two of them are snare. So
Oh,
so Shadow not exactly the most useful tool in the box here. So right
well,
now.
at least he opens up the quick check at Gal's father's house and a pseudo tasty check in Floating Continent, depending on what you find on the way down and around.
This is interesting. Kitty actually going for a very odd pick here. Oh, and also not equipping the mobile charm. I wonder if that was intentional. And that's not a very good fight either.
I was gonna say it looks intentional though because he's not running. He's not trying to run.
No, but these also have quite a bit of health here. Oh, we have an imp on screen.
Imp!
Well, there's also a Genji helmet that was in the basement of South Figaro, so it's not too bad. Schwann's is going to. Okay, well, falling house town, but you just jumped out of that. I guess he's just gonna do the thief check there. Ooh, earrings.
Looks like the ruined Zen had the item for sale for $21,000, which is not too bad. It's more money than we probably have right now, but it's not the worst price ever.
Okay, Osteosaurus, so as long as you have some Phoenix Down or Revives, that should be good to go. Yep. Some easy levels there. But yeah, that was a very interesting pick, though, for Kitty to go to the, I forget what it's called.
Ebon Rock.
Yeah, Ebon Rock. Very interesting first real check for them. I mean, I kind of skip out the free lunch checks there that Edgar has in his throne, his Shadow has for the gal's dad. But yeah, very interesting starting place to go to.
Yeah, I mean You do have the assurance that you won't get into any sort of conflicts outside of the boss, but then again, it's also very RNG dependent because of all that lovely coral that the treasure chest demands as its toll,
It's hungry.
and hungry for at least 22, I believe, 21, 22. And if you give it less, you've got to amass them all again.
So 11 minutes into the seed here, we have Swan, Sid, and Elastoid still running around through towns, doing some shopping and checking, while Kitty also going to town, but he's in the Ruin version.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, you've got these three characters are not the most physically prepossessing ever, so you definitely want to make sure that they have some good things to go with getting into, trying to, before getting into any sort of major conflicts. And we had an imp on screen earlier, now we have armor for said imp.
Yeah, I did find imp armor and the titanium, but that was it. Those are the only two imp items I saw when I did my run. So possibility of having a fully armed imp unlikely here. So
Alas, that's all right though.
but Sid, I believe's in the World of Ruin doing the Edgar check here, the first Edgar series check. Now you can skip the throne room part and do this check, and then do the throne room, then do the third check immediately after, so you can get Edgar's checks all done right in a row. That's probably what Sid's gonna try here.
Yeah, that's what I've started doing myself as well. It's just, it's more efficient. It's lovely little proximity routing, as we like to call it. So, yeah, why wouldn't you?
I do not know, however, because I know somebody has mentioned something about Duncan's house. I do not know if you need to get all the blitzes before you can get the last one. I'm not sure if that flag was checked or not. And I actually personally forgot to go back and do that. So,
Well, whoops.
no spoilers in chat, guys. But it's kind of hard to say that when you're muted, though. As Shadow's muted. And Kitty doing the same thing, doing the same check here as Sid is.
Well, I was going to say, if Sid is muted and throws out an F-bomb, does it become Schrodinger's F, I guess?
I guess that's what happens when a lumberjack is cutting a tree down, nobody's around.
I can speak my thoughts about if a tree falls in the forest and that example. I think we'll... Hey.
Oh! Ow! Let my heart be still. Last story just sold a gen box.
I mean, it's definitely good money. It's also good magic, too. So just kind of depends on what you need at that point in time.
Oh, my chest hurts. Oh, I saw ice shields there in the armor there. That's actually important to know, by the way. Sid having some issues here with the fight, and he's just gonna smoke bomb himself out. So like, never mind, I don't need those levels anyways.
Yeah, that's...
But here comes Kitty. Here comes Kitty for the boss battle coming up here. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, let's see what's waiting in the worm room, or whatever you want to call it, I guess.
Worm, tentacles, vines. It's called a lot of different things.
That weird looking room.
Yeah, well, no, it's just a lot of green. But Setzer, not a bad one to pick up. Was definitely the hero of last seed. And we have spicy chicken.
Oh boy, I already had supper, but thanks.
Spicy chicken's in chat, everybody. Thank you, sausage. He's gonna try to go for the fight though, as Edgar's already down, taking a, I can't really say a dirt nap, because a vine nap.
It really
Yeah, I
feels
don't
like with
think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it really feels like with a fight like this that it's very much a race against time, because I mean, it looks like though Kitty's pretty well equipped to take a lot of the fire with, I suspect at least that Minerva in play, probably the flame shield as well.
Yeah, so it looks like Edgar is just going to be down for the fight. There's no sense of getting him up because he's not going to be able to stay up with all the fire coming out of the spicy chicken here.
Yeah.
Just couldn't handle it without the blue cheese apparently. It's blue blood, but no blue cheese. I know, horrible reference. Thank you guys. Be here all
Eh.
week.
But I was just waiting a moment for that one to land before saying anything.
Alright, yeah, and it landed with a big thud.
Hey, you hadn't heard me tell jokes. Those dive off a 10-story building.
Oh, we have over an hour, so we should have plenty of time for it.
I typically refrain. I'll just try to provide witty repartee.
So once again, no ice spells to help with this. No stop to help with this either. So this is just going to be a long, grinding battle, as Sid's about to see here.
I was gonna say, if I remember correctly, Polchi's weak to poison, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I believe it is poison, because I think I remember people going, oh, well, people usually use ice and it's not actually ice, or something to that effect. But
yes, it is weak to poison, as Dustin said.
Okay. So, well, I mean, 500 at a time with that Aura Bolt will eventually do the trick. It's just the issue is eventually.
Yeah, chipping away. As Strago's going to break a Pearl Rod for 1900 damage. That's not bad. Must have a couple earrings on him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Schwantz is going to the Firehouse, which is actually where I started my run. Because I ran into the Poltergeist 2, I had just immediately said, nope, checking out of this. And I ended up going face first into the Burning House, which unfortunately has these three things that hopefully you're not level 5 or level 4 because you instantly die, just like that.
Ooh.
And he just had a party wipe, so Schwantz is gonna have to find some levels because those flames, every single fight is gonna be those three things.
Ugh. I was gonna say the joke I was gonna make when you were mentioning you went face first into the burning house sounds painful.
Well, I'm a firefighter after all. I mean,
okay, so you're used to it.
I'm used to it.
But Schwantz unfortunately was not, and decides to go off and do the Edgar checks.
So, looks like Kitty made it through. Enough orables to the spacey chicken face to get through that.
Meanwhile,
However, Sid...
Elastoid looks like is trying for some Zelfer luck here.
I would have saved and reset a little bit faster than trying to get these chests and all. Get those. Oh wait, what did you spy? Guard ring?
Yep. For 50k.
Interesting.
So, let me make sure I'm correct on this also. Oh, hi, there's your Esper. So let me make sure I'm correct on this. World of Ruin purchases go out of the item pool, correct?
I'm not sure actually.
I know it's either Balance or Ruin, and I forget which. Okay. Thank you, Keel.
Just having the money of 50k just to do that is amazing. Alexander. I do not know what this Esper has. I did not do anything in the auction house, so there's actually another glowing stone available too, so there is 2 in this auction house today.
Yep.
Not an Esper though. Sniper sight, so that's probably going to be a pass. Schwantz is now doing the Cave in the Veldet and the World of Ruin, which is the other shadow check. And Strago just pounding away. That could be problematic. Oh yeah.
Oh, looks like Kitty got through the spicy chicken and is doing his Edgar shopping here.
Which is really good. I mean, having everything at a huge discount, having Edgar at a party early in the game does save money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there's Esper number 2 for Last Joy.
I admit, I'm kind of curious where Elastoid got this money, because that's a lot of money to have.
Well, like I said, he did sell that gem box.
Yeah.
So there's a chunk of it right there.
Well, you mentioned that, and then I looked on Elastoid's screen and he had 22 GP,
Woo!
so we might be a little bit...
Fire 3 there. Is that a Bolt 3? Yes, Bolt 3 and Fire 3.
Oh boy.
My goodness. Okay, so that'll definitely get his characters online.
Yeah, I think that'll help a little bit, yes.
Hey, there's a spicy chicken down. Fortunately, all this level's going over to Strago. Setzer with Runic. And we have a ninja on the screen, too.
Yup, Kitty's taking the fight in the lead up to the ancient castle. So, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, this can be rough. That's obviously going to be an offering if Kitty can get this. A shockwave, definitely not the skill you. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, Antlion not gonna do it for a ton of solo. I see a. Is that a dragon on the screen there? Yeah, it is a dragon on the screen.
Yippee!
So Elastoid must be wanting to get some levels here, because I don't see any other reason to go to the auction house to do the dragon. But that skill right there is gonna hurt.
Yeah, just a smidge, but I guess it's counting on having those super balls to be able to, get that damage in, because Elastoid has 8 of them.
Yeah, balls, apparently. Well, 4,000 damage, that'll help.
Yep.
But considering that you have a Minerva, I guess you're guaranteed not to take much of any damage with the bolts that this dragon's gonna dish out, so... Schwann spending the love, like I mentioned before, with the fire shield. Making sure other characters are in fire too.
And Elastoid gets that battle taken care of, so that's going to be some pretty tasty experience.
And Edgar's not going to get any again, though.
That's unfortunate. But still, nicely done on Elastoid's side. And speaking of offerings...
Another offer! Wow, okay. I will tip my cap to Elastoid on that one. That was pretty macho of them to take a dragon this early.
And with, if I'm counting my levels correctly, a level 12 progress? Gives 3 characters and espers?
I don't know. Well, the three characters start, I don't know if they count. I think it counts after the fact. So just be the 3 espers.
Okay, in that case it'd be 6, but still.
Yeah, still, I mean, yeah. That's if the dragons are even.
Or if they're scaled, yeah.
If you're even scaled. Okay, the characters do count. Okay. So the extra character start does matter for the curve.
Okay. Meanwhile, looks like Kitty's Katana Soul fight is still going. Definitely doing a good job keeping Strago and Setzer up. And looks like Schwantz has taken care of the Doom Gauge check and is picking up Fenrir for it.
Fenrir are a very important Esper for the late game when you get to Kefka's Tower.
So yeah, Chad is saying dragons are scaled. And that rather figures, because otherwise I have a feeling a level 3 Elastoid would have been knocked into space by that dragon.
Master Pug on this chess check. I saw this too, and I said, "Heck no!" So that's a smoke bomb out for that. Uh oh. This could be the beginning of the end of Kitty here. Still pushing through. I mean, this is taking a while. This is really getting into the clock as the last story now meets the fate of the spicy chicken. Oof. And Schwann's is about to go down the spicy chicken road too.
Yeah, meanwhile, looks like Sid has decided to engage in a different colored dragon. A crimson dragon.
The crimson dragon. Or red dragon in this version of the game.
Sorry, it's more of an inside joke on my end, but...
Okay. But yeah, still, another dragon fight. Again, red dragon, no ice available so far for any of these guys. During my run through the... Oh, yaha!
Kitty takes down the Katana Soul.
Hey! And actually got Edgar up in the process, too.
Nice.
Like I was saying, no ice in the seed when I was playing it. The best ice spell I had was just Ice 1.
Oh dear.
So that made my fight going into Tier 2 Kefka with Tiger was a little interesting. Because I didn't have the damage for it.
Yeah.
Man, lost away with the bouncy balls, man. That's coming through.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be, I guess, one reason why you use them, although admittedly I don't generally use them myself. I'm too afraid of bad RNG.
Well, he did sell the, that's what he sold the gem box for initially. He sold the gem box and immediately bought a bunch of bouncy balls, so...
Yeah.
And we have a lock.
So he snuck into the ancient castle to steal everything, and then...
A lock with shock. Yeah.
I was going to say, now we're starting to sound like Child of Light. We're rhyming all the time.
Yeah, lock, shock, and barrel right there for this pickup. And
well, you can go with that one, too.
Oh! Kitty with a dragon fight! Got pinched against the statue there, and there's a fire to... Well, actually, helps your shadow up a little bit. But so far, there's been a spicy seed. I mean, we have spicy chickens, spicy dragons,
spicy katanas.
Spicy katanas. So interesting place for Sid. Sid with only one Esper with 5 characters now.
Well, definitely plenty of possibilities then.
Yep, lots of paths to take. Last story with 4 characters and 3 Espers. Kitty with 4 characters, 1 Esper, and Swans with 3 characters and 2 Espers. About to get the 4th character here. Along with Kitty. Kitty's about to get their 5th character, so kind of the same path as Sid.
The chat mentioning we all wanted to play as Leo. Of course we did. And that's why we listened to all that bad information about, hey, you could fight 256 encounters and turn in your seat 3 times and do 12 cartwheels, and then you can get Leo in your party.
Or in this case, Locke.
Yeah.
I will say this ladder this week was a little better than week 4's. Having a character starting with health versus last week where he had absolutely no healing at all. So that's kind of a nice start.
I didn't get to see that broadcast, so that sounds fun.
There was absolutely no healing besides one Mega Elixir, really. That was it. That was the healing for the entire seed as Schwans takes down the Space Agent.
have ourselves
Vesper?
yep, a shoat over in the treasure check or the weapon shop check in Narsh.
That was an Aura Lance, which would be nice on Edgar.
Yeah.
Don't know why you unlocked the Relics Room. Maybe because you just wanted to go in there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, looks like you thought it was the Cursed Shield house.
Oh, Cursed Shield House is this one right here. And unfortunately, he's going to find out the number is going to be 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not a possibility for Paladin Shield this run.
At least not a feasible one.
Katie jumping on the bouncy ball train. They're going to take out their dragon. A lot of dragon fights this seed, or at least this broadcast.
Chat mentioning Bree breaking a 30 fight shield. My goodness, that is quite something. Hopefully, got that at the beginning and was able to route that through a good bit of the game.
Yeah. Lastoid saying nope also to the Master Pug. It looks like New Kitty and Lastoid are making their way out of the caves here on the last Edgar check.
Making their way uptown then?
Making their way? Yeah. Kind of in a lull, guys. We're sorry. We just have a bunch of people just trying to. Okay, well, no, we just have another Katana solo fight now. That'll get us interested again. No, they're not, because it looks like they're running for the. Oh no! Gonna break the fire rod. Just immediately shock and a fire rod. See how this does. Not bad.
I think the biggest difference in this fight is going to be that Elastoid has, Bolt 3 didn't do a whole lot, but it's still a level 3 spell, and is breaking, like you said, Fire Rod, has Shock already, so probably this fight's going to go a good bit faster than City's did.
Oh yeah, by the way, Shadow does learn magic naturally. That was one of the magic natural users, and learned Meteor as their first spell. Illumina's on the screen here for Sid.
Yeah, looks like this was in one of the Colingtons, I'm not sure which.
I believe it was,
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Just a reminder, everybody who is watching this, if you want to do some seeds of your own to join in on the randomizing fun, just go over to www.ff6wc.com and you can run your own seeds. Just make sure you have a Final Fantasy 6 or 7 emulator that you can put into the randomizer.
And if you want to come join us in the Discord, please do that too. We have ourselves a fun Discord, which is lots and lots of fun. So come join us there. We are starting the process of getting another tournament up and going. So that is, I confess, going to be lots of fun. I am still on the fence about whether I'm going to do it myself because I've got other time commitments, unfortunately. But it's going to be lots of fun, and just doing Seeds of the Week or chatting with the community, all of it is very enjoyable, so we'd love to see you there.
We have an Ultros in the sky, but not Ultros number 4.
It is Ultros number gone.
Yep. So it'll be another Esper for Sid. Again, we go around the horn here. We got Sid that's going to have 5 characters, I believe 3 Espers. Last door with 5 characters, 3 espers. Swans with 4 characters, 3 espers. And Kitty, unfortunately, still only has 5 characters, but is about to get their second esper here, I believe.
Yep. So we got
I highly doubt
ourselves.
they're going to give the lance. Yep, there you go.
So pretty much we have ourselves, at least in terms of numbers, a relatively even race here. So that's good to see.
Should be a very close finish if this this paralleling keeps up. Schwanz is the last person to go into the ancient castle.
I was gonna say that's a different series there.
Yeah, I know. Sid going into the tomb, which is the Setzer check, really the only Setzer check.
Yeah, Sid routed, I think, all of them together. Checked Collingen, then went ahead and pulled Ultros in the sky, and now is doing Daryl's tomb. So, tossing all those sets or checks together like good routers do, unlike me.
And Kitty's gonna climb the Narsh Hill. Looks like gonna be doing. I don't know if they're in ruin or they're in balance. I'll have to wait till they get back outside again here. And Dispel and Haste, not the best 2 spells there on the show.
Also, since Naku is mentioning the joys of tracking the evil Chocobo eyes, we go ahead and give a shout out to our trackers. To Brianna is doing restream and tracking, and Naku is assisting with tracking as well. I'm going to check the link and see if commentary's been fixed. I don't know. Okay, it has not.
Nope,
but
still in the last one.
Go see them anyway. Don't go follow them anyway because they're good people.
So Kitty is in the World of Ruin. So either they're taking another dragon fight. Nope, they're just gonna go try to do dodge without having Yeti. So that's kind of an interesting pathing here. Nobody has tried to go Floating Island, which is really interesting to me because Floating Island, you can get a lot of battles for levels. You can maybe even get a couple espers. Kitty also apparently equipped the shield with a ribbon, given those 24 battles. So I don't think they're going to get it in time, but they're going to equip it anyways. And apparently Gembox is on Shadow. We got we got Flame Eater. Not one of the more difficult bosses, especially if you have ice or water. Which you have neither right now. These guys have neither. So makes it a little tougher.
Yeah. Well, the good news is though, after a little bit of a whiff trying to cast lightning on him, we see the shock and Setzer using Strago using Pummel. So I think the damage will be just fine. Just took a little bit to get that going.
Yeah, shock is really nice. Is probably, I will say, it's probably the best ability to have, honestly. And that's the reason why we don't have Leo available with these seats. So.
Poor Leo.
Well, plus Leo's base stats are kind of ridiculous too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, as Naku said, Throw has entered the chat. Yeah, Throw is the other powerful one because it can do multiple elements, and you can also do the hard damage from the stars. So, yeah, Throw is also a very good one to have. And it looks like last time we'll be doing the. Oof, that was close on Kitty part with 5 seconds left on Strago. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be. Blastoid's doing the lock check with the tunnel armor, and Kitty's going to get an Esper for the trouble. Now, although the door opening does open up for Yeti, you cannot do the Yeti check without the Yeti. without getting the Yeti. So, pass open and said, "Oh, hello, we have an Atmon on screen."
Also, looks like Carbuncle took care of the nobody has ice issue. Has ice
Ooh,
2
and
on
life
it.
3.
Yep.
So that's where the ice was hiding. The ice was hiding inside the ice.
Go figure, I guess.
Yeah. Oh boy. So, so we have an Atma weapon on the screen for Lastoid. Half his team is dizzy, but it doesn't matter because he's not thinking about it anyways.
They knew that the rest of the party had this, so they just decided to go ahead and dance the jig.
Ooh. Okay. That's gonna be a very dead kitty here, except for Locke. Or not. Yeah, Magnitude 8 did a little less damage than I thought it was going to. But, yeah, Kitty's gonna take the dragon on the way back down the hill again. Sid finding the Illuminas. And I believe the last story got through the... Yeah, he did get through the Atlas ship, which is seeds.
Yeah, Chad asking about why taking the dragons. Given that the dragons are scaled, I think if you have the levels, or at least you're in reasonable level proximity to what you have as far as characters and espers, I think it does make some sense because that XP does get real good, and if it's scaled, you can actually, you could actually conceivably take the fight, basically.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it looks like a last story is going to be doing... This guy is going to finally get to the island. There's a lot of several battles that you can really level up your characters through. Before, and you get a lot of chances to get some espers or characters. It's a nice string of things to get through, but we have magic using ninjas on the screen.
Yeah, level 80 magic is not exactly what you want to see in the lead up.
Oh wait, there's more after that. After that encounter.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Just you wait all.
So for anybody who maybe has joined us fairly recently, I have not played the seed. I'm not actually in the ladder, so this is all a surprise to me.
Looks like a couple of Luminos there on Sid's characters. Hawk has one and Terra has one. Oh wait, what is that on the screen? Oh, it's a Magimaster!
Yay! Everybody's favorite friendo.
And there is no Berserk, I believe. So this should be an interesting fight here.
Yep. Wee bit.
I said hell no, and I just checked it out and never went back to the sky again. Because I never got Berserk, so I was like, nope. But you do have Meteor, you do have Shock, that's doing a lot of damage, 3,000 damage, that's pretty good.
Yep.
That should do, that's your non-elemental damage.
Yeah, the rest of those super balls are coming in handy too.
Oh, and by the way, the Thunder Armor, Tunnel Armor was Golem, which is one of the big espers to have in the end.
Oh, that's nice too, yeah.
And Phantom was on the free scepter check. Schwann's is going to go back for the Dragon Boots now. Oh, which was apparently also in... is that... I forget which town that is. Miranda, I think?
I think we saw Dragoon Boots in South Figaro. And I believe
Yeah, but they also
Figaro.
had, there was also Dragon Boots in this town that's
okay.
now too, so it was two different locations.
Okay.
But now Sid's gonna get the bad news about the Magimaster, which apparently Alessio did get through, because now he's falling from the sky with brains.
Well, that would be... I mean, I doubt there's really much of any battles that wouldn't be a relief after fighting Magimaster, but these are definitely a lot simpler.
Yeah, this can be tricky if you don't understand. One absorbs fire, the other one absorbs bolt, so you just have to make sure you hit the right one with the right element. But, yeah, or you can just smash it in the face with the sword, that works too. And that is an Esper, right off the back.
So that's going to put Elastoid at 7 Espers now. So getting awfully close to both of those requirements.
45 minutes in, not bad.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sid's got all the characters he needs, and he just needs Espers himself. And the search for all, the search for all the monsters in a box continues.
But that's an aloe vera, which he's going to base in Revivify.
Oh, a very soothing battle then.
Yes, very soothing. Ooh, Sid having to pull out some elixirs. Try to keep the party going into his Magimaster encounter. See if he's gonna go through with it.
I'm sure he will be very, very thrilled.
Fortunately, no tools for Terra, which I forgot to mention. We found Terra. Hello.
So, since I apparently was on the wrong screen, or looking at the wrong screen when I saw it, where did we find Terra?
Where was Terra? I forgot.
Yes, we're fantastic commentators.
Terra was my 6th character, I will say. I did get her. I just can't remember where I got her. Oh, it was in the tomb. That's right, she was sleeping. So instead of Daryl's tomb, it was Terra's tomb. Oh!
So, Sid is not exactly having the best of times here.
Nope, and Elastoid's not going to jump back on the ship. He's going to go for the Atma fight, which is... Dada.
What's up, Pops?
But Strago, old man Strago, is going to brave the storm here with Magimaster by slapping in the face, I guess.
Yep, and looks like Strago had the Minerva on, so has that great elemental resistance. And maybe pull this off? Oh, well, it's going to go ahead and revive.
Yeah, I think he's starting to go, I need somebody else here. Oh, but that Virate's going to definitely put him right back. Oh, boy. Virate mute? Oh, man, that's rude.
Yeah, that's not fun. Not in the slightest.
Kitty is going to get their Terra. Looks like Swans is going to go after their Terra. So it looks like they're each going to have six characters at the end of it. Blastoid's plugging along here. Going to go for the last, final third boss fight here.
The Esper that dropped on the Atma spot was Bahamut.
Ooh, that's not bad. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, it can deal out a little bit of damage.
Now, unfortunately for me, I didn't have enough money to buy the Illuminas. I did find them, I just didn't buy them because I didn't have money for them. So...
yeah, budgets are a thing, yes.
Yeah. That stink of budgets.
Ooh, chat pointing out that Bahamut had Flare and Magic Power +2. Oh,
woo!
Boy.
So there's your reward for getting through the Magimaster, then, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Plus, these guys have money because they've been doing dragon fights too, so...
Yep. And they're finding it on the floating continent also, apparently.
Yeah, just finding it in the chest! Doulahan. 10 out of 10 would sacrifice myself to Phoenix, just in order for it to defeat again. Now, although Doulahan looks like he's on fire, he's actually weak to fire, so don't always judge a book by its cover. However, as we're about to see, oh no, that's right, no, Pearl works on that. I forget what the other one has that Pearl heals. Shoot. I forget now. One of the bosses like pro heals. So
I think it heals at least a couple.
yeah. So Dullahan goes down. That was the last boss for Lastoid to get off this island. Definitely far into the lead versus everybody else in the race here. In the final little bit we have is not a character.
It's a Madween.
It's Manduin that lasts for number 9. My goodness, so 2 checks away for Lastoid. Does not have Terra, so I would imagine they're going to go for the tomb. Yep, they're going for the tomb. So that'll be character number 6 by the end of this tomb for Lastoid. Be sitting on the hill for the last Esper.
I was gonna
Now
say.
Lastoid did the auction house, right? They sold the gem box and did the auction house.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's part of why there's that big Esper advantage, I think.
Looks like Schwantz is going to be doing either the escargot check or the Kefka Nars check. It's going to be escargot check. Which is revealing Doom. Not what you wanted to see, really. No, you don't really want to see a statue as one of your checks.
No, I mean, there is always the flip side of that coin, which is if they appear here, then unless bosses are completely randomized, then they're not going to appear in towers, so there is that.
Yes. Yeah, all the bosses are randomized, you don't see them twice. So, except for our friendly octopus friend. But,
well, yeah. But he cheats and shows up 4 times, so.
Yeah. So Lastoid joining Sid, but trying to rescue Terra from slumber here. Schwan slowly working her way through Doom, has gotten to the final section of Doom. And Kitty is doing the Doom gaze check. So there'll be another Esper for them.
So hello, fair octopus. How are you today?
I was gonna say, Sid hasn't gotten Terra in the character yet. Having a little difficulty here with Flame Eater. Honestly, you could just use Orable for it as Schwantz takes down Doom. And that's a Raiden. That's an Esper for Raiden. And since we passed on the Aura Lance, we also get the Aura Lance from the Esper check for Locke. So that was a twofer there.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sid in the second attempt was able to take down Flame Eater, so Terra is now in his party as well. And looks like Elastoid is just on a last-minute shopping trip and then may very well be hitting Kefka's tower sub-hour.
That's so that's back-to-back weeks. We had one of our runners gonna be heading into Kefka's Tower. Now, I don't think any of our runners have found the Mega Elixirs being sold in stores yet.
I did see them in, I think it was in one of the Figaro shops.
Oh yeah, that's right. South Figaro Room. I'm sorry. That's right. They are there.
I was going to say, yeah, I think I saw them in one of the Figaro Castle shops. Sorry, I should have been a little more specific.
Oh, or Castle Shop too, yeah. Naku, Illumina's better than Mega Elixir. Well, Yeah, but you want to have at least one Mega Elixir going into the Kefka fight for the fallen one. So you want to at least have one.
Unless you're confident enough that you can deal enough damage and just skip right on past it. Or use health.
I believe Schwann's is doing the tunnel armor check now. While New Kitty is in the cave in the Valdette ruin. Which I believe the cave check was a dead check. So Kitty's gonna be sad at the end of this to not see a character or an Esper. Might just bail. I don't think they'll take the fight.
Looks like the Blastoid is going to go ahead and see about picking up a Bum Rush.
Ah, so we're visiting. So that's a good Bum Rush. That'll be on Strago, which I believe Bum Rush runs off of Magic Power. I can't remember.
I admit I'm just so used to all the flashing and all the ultimate damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bum Rush is a great blitz, but it's rough for the photosensitivity.
Yeah, for those of you that have epilepsy, do not watch your screen on Blastoid screen for a while. Although I think everybody's probably going to grab the Bum Rush. Now it is a bit of a long check. You get one skill, which is Bum Rush, the strongest blitz that you can get. However, you can't target anything with it. And to get this, you have to kind of just wait for this long cinematic sequence here. Of course, he's teaching it to lock when it should have been Strago, but who cares, right?
Well, whoever gets taught the blitz can, just show it off to everybody else without the extra photosensitivity.
So here we go. Last story going into Kefka's Tower at 58-16 approximately. See how they're gonna divide the group up. I'm assuming. Yep. So how you usually want to do it is you want to put two of your strongest players on team 3 because they have to fight 2 extra bosses throughout the tower, and your teams 1 and 2 usually have your one, I guess, baggage character, for lack of a better term. So Elastoid's going to selling the gem box to ignore having the X magic to get those 2 extra espers in the auction house has paid off with the sub 1 hour entry into Kefka's Tower. Yes, and the early dragon too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to take down those dragons early on, and of course we in the commentators booth and chat were sitting there kind of, we were going, is this a good decision? And yeah, it was.
Unfortunately, one of the bosses, the Reaper boss, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but yeah, is unfortunately piranhas, so that's kind of a time killer.
Yeah, fortunately though, more recent changes to the randomizer have made it a slightly less time killer than it used to be.
Yeah, you kind of just want to kill a couple piranhas on the screen, leaving one up so it doesn't do much damage to you. Wait a little bit, and then kill the last one off to reveal the boss. But if you just keep killing him over and over and over and over again, yeah, it's just gonna be. Wow, one hit wonder there.
Yep. The power of having good things.
Yes, Illuminos for the win. Yeah, and buying all the Super Balls was another game changer. So we'll have to talk to Elastoid after this if he can make it through.
Well, we shall see. Meanwhile, it looks like Sid has just beaten up Doom, so definitely a weight off his back after that, I think.
So just to update everybody, we have Schwanz who's getting Terra, who's finally going into Terra's treasure room there. We have Kitty going in through the burning house. And we have Sid making the climb up. Narsh in balance. Looks like you're gonna do Kefka and Narsh.
It looks like the highlights from that treasury were the ribbon and particularly the dragon horn for Edgar.
Yes, when I was doing my run, I saw the dragon horn. I was like, game over, man! Because I was already had the Atma's weapon, put it on my Edgar, just left the experiment egg on him to level his levels way up. Just like last week when we had Setzer with the Atma weapon, Dragon Boost, Dragon Horn. Same thing this week, this time it was Edgar, so.
Meanwhile, Kitty doing a much better job at evading those flames than I could ever dream of doing.
Sometimes you get lucky by just running past them. Oh, Schwanz is kind of lost on the island here, in the middle here. There you go.
Yeah,
just keep pushing down. There you
go. Those bridges can be a little bit of a pain in the tail sometimes.
I don't think Sid got to the boss in time. You got the crosser there in, so it's gonna fight one more fight before you get to the boss. As Elastoid's about to beat boss number 2, which is the Guardian check, which is Ultros number 1.
Oh boy. Now, obviously, you know whether this happens. Oh dear.
So, 2 Illuminous to the face will do it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
As Sid has Vargas with the Pooh Bears, and Kitty in the burning house finds Eden, or Aiden.
Oh dear, that's not exactly what you want to see, particularly.
Also, Schwanz at the end of the Esper cave is going to find an Esper Phoenix.
Well, I mean, I guess it does go according to form.
I did do the Kefka Narsh with Strago, and first move, first shot to the face on Pummel. When you do Vargas and the Pooh Bears, if you can get Pummel to sneak through and hit Vargas with it, it'll automatically end the match. You don't get the experience for it, but you'll automatically get the match over. So. And that will be a Torado, which I believe has plus 100% HP per level, which will go perfectly with the Atma weapon.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, unfortunately, apparently Elastoid has been disqualified for not suplexing the train, so sorry Elastoid, you had a great race!
Oh, I did it! Okay, I did it! Go to my video, guys. I suplexed the train. A couple of guys in the chat was there, they saw it. I did it for the memes. De facto winner, thank you very much, I appreciate that.
It looks like the Ruin Mowgli's check is going to be a pair of marble shoes, which are nice, but not worth sticking around particularly for a long Funbaba check.
Magimaster Jr. on the screen with the bum rush. The face for quad 9s.
A very casual quad 9.
Sorry, but that's just my 2-year-old trying to get put to bed here.
Aww. I think we can make an allowance for that.
Swan's actually making the climb up Magi Tower. I saw the imp at the bottom and it passed on that. However, I guess if you're desperate for espers, I guess you'll just do it. Oh, they're actually going to get the go for the extra chest on the way back down. Kitty is going to go for the auction house, trying to get those espers like Elastoid did, as Elastoid takes out the first of the statues. Kitty with the esper route back as Sid gets out of the checks for there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kitty getting some Zelfer luck here, getting the Esper first try. So, Kitty wins at least that part of the seed, if you will.
And it looks like Sid's gonna pay for the item blindly, which don't have enough money. Okay, we'll have to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, he was about 10,000 gold short. Oh! Still in the Aura Lance. Okay. For a Ginzy shield, I don't know if that was a good trade.
Yeah. Well, to each their own. I don't know if I would do that myself, but then again, I'm just sitting up here in the booth, so don't mind me.
Yeah. Don't mind us on the sidelines, just talking about your terminations.
Elastoid makes short work of Air Force, even though Setzer is taking a little bit of a nap here.
I actually had a hard time on Air Force when I was doing a run. They actually almost killed me once. Oh, no, it did kill me once, I should say.
Yeah, Air Force can get nasty if that higher scaling comes into play with three attackers that have no hesitation whatsoever and just smacking you around. Looks like Sid is going coral hunting.
Well, Kitty is going into the Phoenix Cave. That is not a KT entry, that is Phoenix Cave there.
And Elastoid is hitting the final Kefka fight at about 1 hour 9 minutes. Holy freaking crap.
Elastoid is on pace to beat the live streaming record here. Restream record, I should say. I believe we had a record last week, which was what was it, 123, I think it was. So, yeah, crazy timing. And they have the extra Fire 3, the Illumina, the Bolt 3. Doesn't have the Ice spell for Tiger, so we'll see how they get through Kefka Tier 2 here. Leaving Terra on the sideline. Interesting.
Well, I mean, if you've got the power to go after all of these, all these different components, that's a good problem to have. If you've got so much power that you can go, oh, okay, best girl, you can sit this one out, thanks.
That's a second try on Doom for the long arm. Success there. Schwann's is at the top of the Magi Tower. I'm really interested to see who was on top of the Magi Tower.
Fortunately, everybody knows that it's not Magi Master. Thank goodness.
I will say Sid, this was a good check because in the Coral chest one, I believe it's leader. So this was actually a pretty good check to do. Yep, it was leader. So, oh, Doomgaze at the top of the tower. Ugh. Whoa, okay, so last sword casting Golem already?
I would assume probably he's going to use Fenrir for tier 3.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah, Yakko, Elastoid has been just destroying it so far. It's been quite something to watch.
So last story on to tier 2. Now this is the one that could be a little tricky again. No ice damage for the for Tiger, which is that a cat-like face there on the front bottom there on the screen. And as you can tell, the Lestoid's trying to look for it. Yeah, you're just gonna have to punch it in the face with Luminous. That's all you really can do. What's again, 6,000, 5,000 each? That's not gonna be that bad. So. And he had to mute for the magic on the backside.
Yeah, I think that might have been what he was looking for initially in that fight.
Yeah, okay.
And fortunately was able to find it.
But Bum Rush hits home on Tiger for the quad 9s with a 58 with the aluminum, followed by the Pearl hit proc for another 4,000.
Woo! So basically 2 hits for about 20k. Not bad.
Ah, even the dog was gonna get on the action there.
Greeks for everyone!
Here comes Bahumu. Okay, that was short word of Tiger. Oh, Bun Rush went after magic instead. That's not what you want to see.
Looks like it may very well be what he did want to see, because he's going for magic first and then going after...
Yeah, but magic is mute. I mean, you don't have to worry about it. It's muted. So you just want to go after the other thing. It will be doing damage, which is the 10 hits. Unless, if you kill it last, it doesn't do the 10 hits. Well, Golem has already been popped. Because I did see the Golem shield come up in front of Locke, so... Unfortunately, Dispel does come through. Because that has an ability, not a spell.
Yeah, Elastoid, it looks like Elastoid is doing a pretty fantastic job dealing with everything coming through here.
There's 10 hits, which the dog takes for Shadow. And evade. Another evade. Wow, Shadow just ducking and dodging here.
Yeah.
3 evades and a dog. Wow. Unreal, as Kitty is doing a dragon fight, looks like.
Yep. He's fighting a Mistwalker game. Blue Dragon. Nothing. 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 But fortunately, the dragon was not nothing. It was a good pile of experience.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm the other runners, I'd be like, there's no way somebody's at the end of Kefka's tower by now.
Well,
yeah.
Since this is a live run, the runners don't know that yet.
Yeah, they have no idea until they put the time in chat, and they're going to be like, "What?" And that's a reset for Schwann's. Don't know what they reset out of there, as Sid finds an Esper. Bum Rush hitting home on Girl. Golly. There's Fenrir for the Moon Song to block the calmness at the end. Trying to set up the Bum Rush finisher here. Oh, looks like Lester's going to do a quick into a double Bum Rush here.
I admit, one of the things that I need to work on as far as my performance in this game is I never really used Quick very much. I think because it's such, if I remember, it's 99 MP, is it not?
It is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never fully understood precisely what it does.
Oh no, reset from Sid. Did the dog dog
didn't
just
go.
take Comus?
Wow.
This is unbelievable, guys. The
Yeah,
MVP. The MVP is gotta be
Interceptor.
Interceptor. My goodness.
So Elastoid hits the final Kefka fight at an hour 16 and is pretty much primed and ready to go. The closest anybody came to dying was Edgar taking that Meteo, and that's really about it.
And still has a couple of Fenrir's, one of which is on the Edgar. Has the bum rush. Has the he's got the damage. He's got the damage to power through on the charge up here. So. And I hate to be a spoiler here with Sid here, but Sid's climbing the tower of Zozo Balance, and unfortunately, it's going to be a dead check. So that's not going to be the 10th Esper for them. So. Alright, here's the charge up. Let's see if they can pound through this as all the shields come off for the Fire 3s. I guess, okay, Locke's gonna cast the shield, break it. As here comes the double bum rush off the quick from Strago, quad 9s. As Kitty's gonna be learning, it, so as we can see, it's very helpful. And there's the finish. We got the finish on the time already, although we're still watching it. It is going to be 116.27.
GG's Elastoid. I'll see if Elastoid will join us in chat for a quick little interview here.
That is the new risk record that we have for the restream of the game currently, the ladder series here. Well, it looks like Elastoid's in the waiting room if we want to bring him in here.
Yep, I will go ahead and bring Elastoid in, and so now we are joined by our super speedy first place finisher, Elastoid. GG, Elastoid.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
You're not kidding.
Okay, so I saw Locke, I think last week, might have been the week before, had this amazing run where there were like no dead checks, and I was like, I really want that to happen to me.
Elastoid in, and so now we are joined by our super speedy first place finisher,
I'm elated that it
Elastoid.
finally
GG,
did.
Elastoid.
That was a good time. I'm happy.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
Good. Yeah, chat's mentioning that may very well be the best time of the ladder so far.
I'm a little stressed.
Well, take us through the seed here, because early on in the game, you actually sold the gem box. Now, why would you sell the gem box so early?
It's a gem box. I mean, I know lots of people think that it's really great, but I'm not one of those people. My favorite thing about the gem box is that it sells for lots of money. That is by far the best thing about it.
And you use that money on the Super Bowls.
Oh yeah, Super Bowls are going to be way more useful. And as soon as I saw that I had access to Super Bowls, I was like, I can sort of go. Like, I could sort of ignore the rest of the early game and just keep it going with these Super Bowls. I think from then, I grabbed the Espers at Auction House because I wanted to increase the progress up, so I could sort of give myself like an XP slingshot, because I was already thinking I'm gonna go do the dragon and then just start doing checks. And the only thing that went like Edgar had 2 characters, so I was like, great, I only need 1 character, I can start looking for Espers. And then when South Figaro Cave didn't have a character, I was like, that's fine. When Floating Continent didn't have any characters, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to worry. Because it's going to be one of those weird seeds where, I've got like 14 espers and still 5 characters. But fortunately, I think it was Daryl's tomb that had Terra, and I was good to go.
And funny enough, all 4 of you have the exact same characters.
That's not so surprising when you consider, you're gonna do the Edgar checks, and the Edgar checks give you the 2 characters, right? So the only question is what the last character is gonna be, and you have the option of Strago checks or Daryl's tomb. It's not really a hard choice, so I feel like kudos to the rest of the runners for I think that's the correct play. I think that's the optimal play. So kudos to everybody else for finding that as well.
And going back to getting all those espers, you were the first to go into the auction house and was able to pull 2 espers out of it with all the extra money you had.
Yeah, I believe in committing hard to the early game, so I believe in grabbing a lot more chests than a lot of other people tend to, right? I will full clear South Figaro both times, I will full clear Thamasa, I will full clear Albrook. And with that extra money, I will grab the espers in Auction House and Zen Merchant that was an esper, this time it wasn't. And that brings the progress up pretty high, but it also gives you the opportunity, if you find super balls or something else, to start with the enemies a little stronger and give you a little bit more in the way of XP. And the time that you gain there will mean you don't have to take the overworld fights or grind that way. It's sort of risky, but I've sort of made it work for me, and especially when you find super balls, it works pretty well. So, yeah. I actually didn't wind up checking too many shops this time because I started with Edgar and I wanted to get South Figaro, World of Ruin out of the way real quick because, if you find Ragnaroks there and you find them somewhere else, you'll feel silly if you blew all your money without the discount. So, my plan was to go to World of Ruin first, or as soon as possible, and go from there. And I was fortunate that Nike, I think, had the Super Balls.
Yeah, it was Nakia from what I remember. And I was panning back to chat a little bit earlier because I remember seeing a comment. Doesn't was pointing out in chat, they were of the opinion that you finding those Super Balls was pretty much the difference because it allowed you to be able to take the fast dragon in Opera House when admittedly I think at least both of us in the booth and a fair number of folks in chat were kind of hand-wringing a little bit because I think you were level 3 when you took on that dragon, right?
I was indeed.
Yeah.
My plan was to take the when you have Super Balls are magical because they don't care what level you are. They're always going to do a multiple of 256 damage, right? So they could do just low 256 nothing, right? They're very unreliable. If you're using 1 or 2 and you're relying on them, you're gonna have a bad time. But I think I sold enough to get 8 of them, and that was enough to take care of not only the dragon but also Poultrygeist, which didn't turn into any problem, and I don't know if I used any on the Fire Dragon, but I wound up buying a couple more and having enough to take on Magi Master as well, which, once you've got Magi Master down, the rest of the seed, you don't have to save nearly as often and everything, because the rest of the seed, you're not going to run into Magi Master, so it was sort of cool to have him down.
Right.
Just to update everybody, we have Schwans who entered Kefka's tower at around 1 hour 20 minutes in. Kitty's about to get their 10th Esper to start the march to KT, and Sid's doing some final shopping again to KT as well. We're joined by Lastoid in the Discord, our winner for the Restream event at 1 hour 16 minutes 27 seconds. How did you feel about going into KT sub 1 hour?
Oh, that feels so good when it happens. I mean, I've had that happen in when I was doing practice for the Coliseum, and I've had that happen before, but having it happen in an official race is especially delicious. especially when it's on Restream. That was sort of extra happy.
Now, we have a lot of gripes in chat that are very upset with you because you did not suplex the train.
I didn't have the Blitz character with me.
I did it! I suplexed it!
I couldn't. If you want me to reset out, which by the way I haven't saved through all of Kefka's Tower, right?
Oh,
you want
God.
to reset out and just re-enter and bring Strago on the middle path just so I can suplex the train? I mean, I understand memes, but no meme is that powerful. No meme is a 20-minute meme. That's crazy.
All right.
That was, I will say, particularly Brianna's plea. So you can blame her if you like.
Wow, you immediately, like, as soon as I point out how ridiculous it is, you immediately throw Brianna under the bus. That's not okay, alright? Yeah, you're right. I would only have lost something like... Well, no, I couldn't I couldn't warp stone and re-enter because I'd have to get out of the fight with the Doom Train somehow, right? So I mean, either I'm gonna kill it or I can't run away. I would have to reset.
Fair enough.
Now, for people accusing us of throwing Brianna under the train, very creative, Fruity.
Right? Yeah. That's... Now I feel silly for not catching that.
We mentioned this just shortly after Brianna herself says it, so we're not throwing anybody under trains. She threw herself under that train.
One more question before you go, and this is more of a comment. But the MVP of the Kefka fight had to have been Interceptor.
Why?
Because not only did Interceptor and Shadow evade 4 of the 10 hits, Interceptor also blocked the calmness going into the last fight.
But he had Fenrir up, so Interceptor was like, I'm saving you, and Shadow was like, no, really, I got this. Like, I've got, like, Illumina evade, I'm fine, trust me. Shadow was the one with the Genji armor as well, he could take it. I think the MVP was definitely the quick Strago with the Bum Rush, which I miscalculated and ate a Medio anyway, but I was a fan of the quick strats. I do want to say, I said before the race began that I wanted everybody to hit sub 2, and it looks like everybody's in Kefka's Tower with half an hour to go, so that's definitely possible. So good luck to all 3 of the other people on stream. I'm hoping for all 4 of us to hit sub 2.
It certainly looks like that's possible, although I think the 1 second later part of your prophecy didn't quite come true, but the rest of it looks to be, so...
Oh yeah, that part, I admit, was a bit of a stretch to have all 3 of the other runners finish exactly 1 second after me. That would have been really cool, but it didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't that have been something, though?
It would have. It would have indeed. Alright, well, y'all have a great time commentating the rest of this race. I'm going to step away, and GG to everybody else when they watch this back.
Yeah, congrats to you. 1 hour, 16 minutes, 20... Yep, what was it?
One other thing. I did finish faster than Doesn't Eat, which I'm very happy about. I told him in my chat that if I finished faster than him, that I'd bring it up in the restream, and I did. So, thumbs up to me.
Well, I was going to say a GG and a little bit of shade at the same time. I think that's a great note to go out on. So GG Elastoid, thank you for restreaming with us, or for being on the restream tonight, and have a good rest of your night.
Oh yeah, y'all have a great one.
Take care. Alright, so once again, that was the last word. 1 hour, 16 minutes, 27 seconds. That is the current record for the ladder series we have, week 5. As we are once again graced by a train with no blitzers, so we're not going to see Suplex train again. Yet. Kitty and Sid kind of side by side, close together. With we're doing piranhas at the same time here.
And Schwantz managed to, it looks like, doom the train, I think.
Yes, you can doom the train. It's weird. It's technically undead, but you can still doom it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And also, Swan's also electing to go Inji Love Double Illumina on Shadow. And currently his battle power is like at 600 and something.
I mean, we're almost to DBZ levels here.
Yeah. But the interesting thing for me right now is see where Sid and Kitty end up, because they're pretty close right now. Running through the tower at the moment.
Yeah.
Swans did also, while we were chatting with last week, did take a dragon bite inside a gate.
I was gonna say we also had simultaneous dragons on Nuke or on Kitty and Sid's screens, just different colored dragons. Also, welcome to Caledon, and welcome to everybody who came in maybe a little bit later. This is the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Ladder Week 5 broadcast, and we have ourselves 4 great runners who have been entertaining us mightily, including Elastoid, who was just, holy Moses, just blazed through it.
Now, if you want to get on the fun that we have here on Final Fantasy VI Randomizer, we call Worlds Collide, you can join us. ff6wc.com. You can run your own seed. Just make sure you have a Final Fantasy 6 or 3 rather emulator that you can put into do the randomization. And also, as a Kurant put in the chat, make sure you follow our racers, Nuke Kitty, Elastoids, Shadow Sid, and the Schwans on their own Twitch channels that we are restreaming them from.
As well, definitely appreciations to Brianna and Naku who are doing our tracking tonight. Brianna is also doing restream, so mighty double duty there. As well as, of course, Saber Wolf putting up with my shenanigans tonight on comms. We would do the exclamation R, but unfortunately still showing the previous race, so we can't do the links per se. But go follow all the other folks, all the folks helping out with tonight's broadcast, because it always takes a good team to get this sort of thing going.
Well, I'll throw mine out there. It is Saberwolf Gaming with 2 N's, so it's Gamming. But Saberwolf Gaming, I'll be back on tomorrow night with my D&D group. So yeah, 3-hour D&D stream tomorrow night. It's making some fun.
Yep, and mine is just Kurant, just twitch.tv/my name, and I do a few things, so feel free to watch if you want. I do retros, and I'm doing a little bit of not so retro coming up pretty soon, but yeah.
So our racers still haven't gotten to Kefka yet. Come on, guys. You guys are struggling. You're lacking here. Where were you? Alistair did this like 20 minutes ago.
Rutrow. Rutrow and get Elastoid's message disappearing into the ether.
Apparently Nightbot is flagging you for being one of the runners and you can't do a chat, I guess. Oh well.
Whoopsie.
You're allowed to restream, but you're not allowed to chat. Come on.
Well, I guess that means we're in trouble.
Yeah, I know, right? We're commentator, we're not being one of the runners.
Alright, so it looks like we have double Air Force.
Yeah, Swan's taking the extra fight there from Dragon to slow them down a little bit for the little extra. Ooh, but that missiles are definitely slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with Air Force. Air Force be bad.
Oh. We have a Magimaster Jr. on Sid's screen, New Kitty getting rid of the Air Force. And we do have struggle with the bolts coming through, but that blast of coldness is probably going to hurt. Yeah.
And as Elastoid's pointing out in chat, the tournament that we have... The tournament that we have coming up is the Bannon's Battle Plan. We are in the process of doing an async qualifier right now that is open a little bit longer than I thought, actually. It's open in about another week or so. So if y'all want to participate in that, by all means. I thought it was over in the next couple of days, so apologies to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to take a pass on that because I'll be too busy getting married in a different state in a couple weeks from now. So
details.
Yeah, I know.
I think I don't remember if it was this community or if it was one of the others, but one of the racers bowed out of a chat because they were going to become a parent. And so we were all just sort of, obviously congratulating them, but also ragging them about misplaced priorities.
Okay. The best way to get through the early parenting, for me actually, was watching Ryokar and sitting up at 2 o'clock in the morning eating sandwiches. That's what you do is when you're a new parent. Okay? So you have plenty of time to try to sneak away for playing a game or something while the baby's sleeping.
I guess trying to run a randomizer seed in the amount of time that... Oh, there we go. We get ourselves a suplex. Kitty has validated the seed.
Yes! You have to do it for the memes. There you go. Yeah, did the suplex for doing the bum rush. That's how you do it. Now, we did see Schwans have to do a reset, did do a team wipe there in their last battle, as Sid is going to their Air Force match. And Kitty moving on from that statue there. Might be the last statue. But Sid gonna get hit face with a wave cannon. That's gonna do not too much damage, but is able to take it out. As Kitty is up on the hill at 137.15 approximately, going into the final Kefka.
Alright, looks like Schwantz is just one statue fight away from hitting that point himself, and Sid is pretty close as well. So, yeah, it looks like the sub 2 dream is still alive, depending on how our runners handle Kefka tonight.
And we have Shadow Sid on the hill for final Kefka. So we're gonna have side-by-side Kefka here.
Side by side Kefka almost.
Yeah, Schwantz still has one more.
Yeah. Well, see how quickly Schwantz takes this one out.
And it is the Air Force, which he just wiped on. So, and Setzer's not in a good place, only at 700 HP. And that's an immediate blast. But a lot less damage as he re-equipped everybody. Wow, Bunruss hitting right at home in the middle there. 1 in 3 chance and he got it. Now that's interesting. Kitty going in with the Paladin shield on top of Strago. Not sure if that's really a good idea.
Maybe just forgot to unequip.
Well, at 24 battles, I wouldn't have equipped to begin with. I'm just saying. And considering that's your main damage dealer, on the quad 9 bum rush, that's putting yourself in a rough spot there.
Elastoid asking if the Paladin shield was easy to unlock. No, it was 24. It was a Jack Bauer season.
Yeah, not happening. Yeah, I said screw that noise. As we have the Vanishing Act for Shadow Sid doing the Phantom Summon. Schwans is now on top of the hill going into the first tier of Kefka. But again, that's still going to be another minute before he actually gets into the fight. So, as Kitty moves on to tier 2. Oh, but Shadow said not using Doom on the long arm. I would have thought you definitely would have learned it by now.
And it's certainly possible that maybe he did and forgot. I know I've been a victim of worse forgetfulness in any of my seeds, so that's a possibility. We might have to inquire about that.
Yeah.
Also, apparently Nightbot is the true villain of tonight's race. I mean, the heck with Kefka, Nightbot is just devastating all of us.
Nightbot with the bump rush. Plus ones, there's the Doom on the long arm that we were talking about. As Kitty unimps themselves on Edgar. But again, yeah, I hate bringing this up, but Curse Shield on Strago, giving yourself a timer per tier here is kind of rough.
Yeah,
I don't know if you unequip it, does it stop?
I don't know. I would expect it would, but I'm not sure.
I mean, clearly it's not taking any damage, so the negative effects of that is not really hurting Purity.
Yeah.
As Sid gets to tier 2. And it's immediately going to be dropping the Raiden to try to get rid of Link's Machine. As Machine, just like Longarm, is hurt by Doom and the like. And that is going to hit, so Machine is down. Once again, kind of rough on the ice spells, so you're having to rely on smashing Luminas into Tiger's face. Oof. It was a rough counter hit on Swans' Strago for 1200 there. And now we're in a very bad hole in Kitty as a Flare Star just popped up with Strago only at 2 seconds left for self-dooming themselves. Was able to get a bum rush off for quad 9s, but there goes Strago. So now, bit of a hole for Kitty.
All 3 of our runners are now on the tier 2 fight. It's a nice bit of synchronicity, although, yeah, like you've been mentioning, this is kind of rough for Kitty, because now coming against all of these spells that magic in the back is throwing out at them, and then abilities that start hitting right at the wrong time.
Well, now, but after the self-dooming effect on the curse shield does happen, you no longer have that effect on you anymore. So now bringing Strago back up, because the Doom timer is just to see if you can get the battle in time to try to lock it to be a Paladin shield. But, so now that you brought him up and the timer has expired, now you're not going to have the timer shield anymore. But it still puts you in the hole, but not having a character.
Yeah. And really, it feels like the biggest issue with what Kitty's trying to do right now is something of a healing loop, because he's having to spend a lot of time trying to bring characters back up, and I'm certainly not saying this is a condemnation. It's happened to me plenty of times, so I'm speaking from some rather painful experience.
Yep. Oh, okay. I got confused by Mog using shock there for a second. I forgot that was Mog.
Yeah. And Elastoid asking if anybody referred to Lock as Shock Lock. Yeah, we did a bit of Shock Lock rhyming whenever we noticed that at the beginning.
Yep, sorry. Shock Lock and Barrel.
Oh, I mean, I referred to Child of Light, so I'm not sorry about that.
That's right, yeah. Oh, never sorry. You guys are... You're here to listen to us, so...
Wow.
No, we did not do Sherlock Holmes there. So.
Kitty makes it to tier 3 and is sort of hanging on by a bit of thread here.
But does have the Illumina's. Oh, does Illumina does not work on Girl, do they?
Well, the hit itself does, but that Pearl Proc will heal Girl, so again, kind of hanging on a little bit of a thread.
I think Sid's about to move on. There's a quarter of the double dispel, so I think Sid's going to move on to tier 3 as well, as Schwanz is moving on to tier 3. Oh, another quarter comes out for Sid. Okay, Lumina's do work on Girl. Okay. But, yeah, you don't want the proc, because that heals for about 4,000 HP.
Yep.
Instead, moving on, we have 3 tier 3 Kefka fights on the screen at the same time, guys.
Yeah, this is definitely a great race. It's pretty glorious to see the way that everybody is trying to adapt to a lot of these different strategies. See, Terra's condemned on Kitty's screen, but is also dealing out a lot of damage.
But there's the Merton coming in, because now you're dealing damage to sleep before you killed the girl, so now you're just unlocked a new can of worms. And
Well,
health, although okay at 600 HP, not the greatest healing spell for the target.
Yeah.
Ooh, gets the life 3 off just in time before losing Terra.
Yeah, chat pointing out that 51 seconds is separating second from fourth right now, so we, if that does continue up to the end, we may have ourselves a very stuffed restream booth in a few minutes.
Yes, we might. And a girl is still up, even though it took 7,600 damage from a bum rush. Let's see if Swans can nail it again on the girl. Nope, that went to sleep. It's a 50-50 shot of hitting. But we do have Dragon Boots with a Dragon Horn on top of Edgar, so that should put out the sleep. But here comes... No, okay, no, that was Meteor, not Meteo. Ooh. But there's Meteo on Kitty's screen now. That's quite a bit of damage.
Is able to survive it, but yeah, that hurts a lot.
Sid prepping haste 2 on all of his characters. As Edgar goes up in the air for another jump, there's about 9,000 damage from a couple Luminas again. Swans is double equipped Lumina with Genji Glove on his Shadow. As Edgar does the jumps in, not the greatest damage though.
Okay,
Kitty
makes it on. Yep, makes it to tier 4. Those life 3 casts from a bit ago came in handy as Strago took Calmness to the face and then untook it.
Terra down on a Meteo hit on Swans' screen, and a huge Merton coming in on Sid's screen for a bit of damage. And Sid did not get Bum Rush, is reduced to just having Aura Bolt. Another Meteo comes in for Swans, but misses everybody. Moonsong comes in. That's going to help try to block the Calmness at the end. As Nuke Kitty goes on to Kefka 4. Okay, so Calmness missed because of the Moonsong, and no Terra for Swans coming into the last fight. And side by side, as Sid gets it too.
So Sid and Schwanz are separated by probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 4 seconds?
Yep, about 4 seconds. But Swan's in a little bit harder space, not having Terra in the end here. No Mega Elixir coming out yet for Kitty, although I do see it prepped in the items there. So hopefully it comes out soon. Ooh, nice evade from Locke. Actually, I don't even think he's even going to bother. I think he's just going to pound the damage in.
Well, I was going to say, if you can get that damage in by the time the Beyond Chaos bit is over with, then yeah, it's doable. You just sort of have to rush it a bit.
Yep, Terror with the quick is trying to get it in, but
And there we go.
Woo! Kitty getting in there with approximately a 149.
Yeah, the time on here is 1:49:34. All right, so I'm reaching out to see if Kitty wants to come in for an interview.
All right, I'll
that
pay attention to
was
side by side with the hyperdrive into Edgar. Edgar goes down on Swan's screen. We still have all ones on the other side on Sid's screen as Kefka goes into the charge up of the Goner. Swans has the bum rush. Sid does not have bum rush. This is going to be neck and neck here at the end. And we're going to have a very full booth here in a second. Swan just Kefka goes into the power up for Goner. Goner is triggered on Sid's screen. Here we go. Let's see if anybody can survive this. Everybody goes down. Nobody had life 3. It's over for Sid.
And it's over in a better way for Schwantz. Schwantz finishes in third place with a time of 1:50:24.
Oh my goodness. Sid immediately jumping on that last switch again to get right back into it again. Good job out of them. So official time for Newt Kitty is 1:49:34 again. They coming in their run or?
Yeah, they're basically trying to decide which one is going to come in first, or if they're going to do both. So
it's fine.
Yeah, just waiting for one of them to come into the waiting room. A whole bunch of folks are typing, so.
And we are still waiting the official time for Swans here, as they are getting ready here in the waiting room to come in. Swans' official time is 1:50:24, so 50 seconds behind.
All right, so I've gone ahead and pulled both Nuke Kitty and Schwantz into the room, so GG's to both of you. Well done.
Thanks a lot. GG.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, so what did y'all think of the seeds just in general? Y'all can, Schwantz, what did you think first off?
So, when I first saw the characters, I thought I had a route planned, but, as I always do, I changed my mind at the 11th hour. So, the start of the game was pretty rough for me trying to route out exactly where I want to go. With these type of seeds, I usually like to take a few free checks and then one check with forced encounter. So I thought, alright, Burning House has got a lot of battles, let's try that. And I got level 4 Flared, level 5 Doomed by some random enemies, and said, alright, well, time to change up the game plan then. And after I actually was successful, it was pretty smooth sailing up until the last 2 bosses, which was Air Force that I had wiped on with 2 characters, and final battle I lost one of my 4 characters on the 2nd tier, but I think I recovered pretty well. Being off at the start kind of tilts you a little bit, and I tried to calm myself down to not tilt too much, but I think I could have executed a lot better from a routing and gameplay perspective.
Yeah, understandable. Kitty, what did you think of the seed?
Oh, well, since I was kind of like low on the ladders as it is, I'm just like, well, let me just do some of the random stuff. So I decided, okay, I'll start. I started just by doing the normal checks. I usually skip Narsh, do Returner's Hideout, and then South Figaro, and then finding both the XP Egg and the Hideout, and then some decent stuff in South Figaro. I was just like, all right, well, I don't even need to keep going for checks, so let me just start doing the actual checks. Decided I'd start with Ebbets Rock. That, first encounter was a nasty one, so I just pieced out of that one. Just did a reset, and then did a few battles on the outside. Got lucky with 2 of them with just being able to get like quick instant kills and some really quick experience. And then just going with randomness, I decided, well, let me just do we do World of Ruin South Figaro, and then just did Figaro Castle, which ended up paying off quite a bit, because that gave me both Setzer and, in the long run, Locke. And more or less, the benefit for me getting Setzer was I actually went and checked Polohagen, which is where I found Illumina. So, kind of investing a ton in that, I did kind of just helped a whole lot throughout the rest of the seed. I think I did a bit too much sidetracking on the dragons, just trying to get a lot of quick XP and money, but overall I was debating doing Floating Continent at first. However, when I did it later and finding out the first boss was Magimaster, I was actually quite happy I did not do that first.
Yeah, I ran into it early in my run, so that was unfortunate there. But yeah, I was going to ask you about just to talk about those dragon. You even took an extra dragon within KT.
No, I didn't take one in KT.
That was me.
Oh, who did KT? Oh, that was
Yeah,
Swans.
that was-
I'm sorry.
That was me. I was looking at the levels of my two characters on the path that has the most bosses, and I said 34 is not enough. I need more here. So that's why I decided to do it. And I figured the two characters I had, could beat just about any dragon that was there. So I was also hoping that we weren't going to get Setzer because I accidentally ran into Doomgaze, and then when I saw it was Fenrir, one of the espers that you want for the final boss, I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have a leg up on all of these other runners because they're not going to find Doomgaze, and I have this calmness protection. But there was Golem easily accessible in the seed, and then, of course, the next check I went to was Setzer. So any hopes of me possibly winning were dashed after that.
Well, admittedly, I think in terms of, well, we were all watching in the booth, and of course, then y'all saw the time come in.
Yeah.
Elastoid coming in at 116, I think everybody in chat and in the booth, we had to pick our jaws up off the ground because they'd been dragging the whole time. So, but yeah, you guys did really, really well. You did really well also. I think, so, Kitty, I was going to ask you, you had some Zulfur luck in the auction house, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yes, I had extreme luck there. Didn't get any of the dead checks. Or I didn't get the imp, and then I got, see, it was Esper, and then I got the 50k item, which more or less just buying it to get it out of the pool, and then at that point I didn't want to kind of push my luck at the time, so I was just like, okay, I know there's another Esper here, but let me go out, save, I'll go do some other checks, and once I need one more Esper, I'll come back and then get that one, which is what ended up happening.
So yeah, that worked out pretty well for you then, ultimately.
Yeah, auction house was my last stop as well, and I first chanced the Esper. I usually never do it, but I was looking at the checks I had left, and I hated all of them. I think it was Burning House and Leet River and Phoenix Cave, and I said, you know what, I'm not doing any of that. So
Phoenix Cave just messed me up this run.
let's try the auction house. Yeah, I think had my start of my seed not done so poorly, I think because even after I died, then I went to Cave in the Veldt, took a couple battles, and then found out that the reward was just an item. So I think it was like a half an hour before I got my first progression, which is not good. So it's good to know that I didn't get too far behind, especially after seeing the 116 come in. I thought to myself, wow.
To follow up on your KT fight there, Swans, did you not have Doom learned on any of your characters, or?
No, I had Doom on most of my characters.
Okay, because we didn't see you use it though.
I know I used it on the long arm and tools.
Okay, you did use it.
I don't remember using it. Maybe there could, and I used it on the Phantom Train too to do that one. So maybe it was just on one or two users that I had, and maybe not others that I could have. There's always little optimizations that you could certainly make.
Speaking of Phantom Train, how many of these runs were actually legitimate?
Mine was yours and mine. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
chat.
didn't have my Blitz character at the trade. Sorry, chat. No suplex for you.
Yeah, chat was laying it on pretty thick to you and Elastoid for not suplexing, and then when we saw Kitty suplex, we were like, okay, seed's validated now.
At least somebody did it. Somebody's gonna get that what they want.
How important is Bum Rush to have on a character going into KT? Because we're seeing Shadow Sid right now struggling on Strago, who is on right now at 11 HP. Does not have the Bum Rush on that character. How important is that move on your Blizzard?
For this one, the one big thing that I found out, like when I found the Illuminas and I found out that Strago could not equip it, I knew that he wasn't going to have that power behind that normally the Illumina brings, so he needed some type of substitute for that, so that's where I decided to go for the Bum Rush.
Yeah, I think in my last race, when I raced Sid in week 3, he told me that he saw that he had a Blitz user at the beginning of the game. So as soon as he found an XP egg, he put it on the Blitz user so that he can get to Bum Rush that much quicker. So I did exactly that with this seed. I said, alright, Strago's got Bum Rush, or Strago's got Blitz rather. Put the XP egg on him until I get to 42, and then go get Bum Rush as soon as possible. It blinds my eyes and some other people's eyes, but it does the damage, so that's really what matters, you know? And especially, as Kitty said, with Illumina's equipable on pretty much every other character, you needed something out of your Blitz user. So.
And we're seeing Sid now doubling up Moonsong on top of Golem on K3 right now.
Can never be too cautious. I had my Golem user die in tier 2, so when I was at tier 3, I'm cycling through my characters to see which has which espers, and I said, wait a minute, where's my Golem user? Oh right, he's dead. So I had to wait for my jumper to get back on the ground to do the alternative to do that. So
I was having a bad time on tier 3 when I ended up, because I was like, oh, he's probably close to dead. I should probably use Fender so I don't get owned by Calmness. And then my next character that killed it and used Calmness, and it hit my Strago. And I was just like, oh, that is going to hurt so bad. And then totally forgot that I had cast Life 3 on him.
where did you find Life 3?
Oh, geez, I don't even remember which Esper that was.
Well,
Yeah,
clearly
I
I didn't find it, so you did
Yeah.
something better than I did. Even more extra calmness. So.
But again, another seed. This is the second week in a row in ladder where we had really no healing. I mean,
No
thank
heals,
God Edgar had health. But again, a second seed in a row with no healing.
Yeah, 500 HP is not really going to do it, though. That was... Yeah, I think almost the same thing happened when I did week 3, too, when I raced week 3. There was no healing anywhere, and I had to use a few X potions. Thankfully, I didn't have to sell that stuff to get to the Illumina, because I found a cat hood from a dragon I beat, so I got lots of gold from that. So, anyway, GG's Kitty and the rest of the Restream
GG.
team. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it, and good luck to Sid. You could do it. I know you can, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks again.
Oh,
Yep,
no
thank-
problem. Thank y'all for coming in and for choosing to be on Restream with us.
Everybody, so Sid's just finishing up. He's basically bashing home 3 Illuminas to Kefka's Facer at the moment with a good Pearl proc there. We also got Quickness running on Lock to try to double up the hits because Lock is hitting the hardest. And, ooh, that's a Hyperdrive into Lock. See if he survives. He doesn't survive, so that's the hardest hitter down again for Sid. Once again, doesn't have Bum Rush. Best thing he has is Orbolt on Strago. Proc on Pearl for Terra. Is that enough? Ultima!
Uh-oh.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
Oh, no!
Oh.
Everybody down but Strago. Strago's the weakest hitter right now on the team. Garner is charging up, trying to get the team back up with Phoenix Downs. Hopefully... No,
Oh, no.
Garner's going to trigger again. Oh my. Let's see if anybody can survive this. No!
Ooh.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, this is unfortunate. It's really too bad because Sid had been running a really good race up to this point, and it just happens sometimes in these sorts of seeds. But yeah, Final Kefka will just it just has no mercy when it comes to that sort of thing.
No, it doesn't. And unfortunately, like one of our runners said, like he based his run off of what Sid did with having the early, knowing you have an early blitzer to get the experience sake, to get the bum rush, and now we're seeing what happens when you don't do that.
All right, so
Well, hopefully third time's the charm here.
yeah, I was gonna say to Sid's credit, definitely taking taking it on the chin, but getting back up and persevering is very much a very much a good trait to have. So definitely admire that perseverance, that determination to finish this out.
Once again, while we're waiting for the battle to wind up here, just get a quick follow to any of our runners there: Newt Newt Kitty, Elastoid, Shadow Sid, and the Schwans 27. Go over to their Twitch TV channels and give them some love, and thank you again for all four of them doing the restream running with us tonight. I am Saberwolf. I'm joined by Korant. Brianna is doing the restream, also doing some tracking, along with Nako doing the tracking. I want to thank everybody here tonight that helped us out with this, and of course, last but not least, Javinator, who's the organizer for this ladder series.
And of course, thank you to all of y'all for coming out tonight and for being party to this lovely entertainment. We definitely appreciate it very, very much.
And if you want to join in the fun that Shadowsit's having right now, unfortunately, you can head over to ff6wc.com. Just make sure you have a Final Fantasy 3 emulator. Just plug it in there, and you can also do your own randomized seed and play along with us.
Absolutely, we'd love to have you.
Oh, and don't forget to join our Discord, which is also on that page.
All right, so Sid going on to the Kefka fight for the third time has the shadowed status up for everybody now except Shadow, and is looks like going after long arm to try to take that one out. And it looks like hits are working out generally pretty well on that front.
Yep, and Shadow, the only revealed character, just ducking and dodging using interceptors and everything. So. Man, oh man. Alright.
Gets through tier 1, so we'll see if Sid is... I mean, Sid was fairly able to get through the first 3 tiers. It's really just been Final Kefka and that Goner that's caused the problem. That's it, particularly. But unfortunately, it's been enough.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he has a Mega Elixir, because I have not seen him use it.
I don't know.
I mean, he didn't fight Magimaster, and he didn't buy it from any of the stores, I guess. As that was weird. I thought Terra was gonna turn into an imp, but it's still Terra.
Yeah. Terra's imp form is still Terra. That's why she's best girl.
I guess so. It's like I will transform on my own terms. Dang you.
Well, I mean, considering she can transform in the original game, it's fitting, I suppose.
And heck with your confusion too, apparently.
So maybe we have ourselves either very good resistance or a ribbon.
Oh, let's see what this S-Cross does, though. And that heals her, so that helps. Trying to get Tiger down. Again, Tiger is the main big damage dealer of this quad of targets here. I mean, after you get the Doom or Raiden or whatever you want out to get the number 3, it's kind of where the machine or where the looks like where the girl is holding up the vine there. That takes that one out, and then you get the blue guy in the front, Tiger in the bottom, Magic in the back. But Tiger is the most dangerous one damage-wise. So, and Life 2 does definitely help. I don't think anybody else had Life 2.
I did see Life 2 cast, but I'm trying to remember if it was Sid or somebody else. I think it was Sid earlier. I also have to tip my hat to Elastoid.
Oh, Elastoid, of course, had Life 2. Of course you did. You had everything. Jeez. Oh, man.
It looks like we've got 10 hits going on here on Sid's screen, and good news is most of them were blocked, so I think once Magic goes down, then that will effectively be it. Although, unfortunately, it looks like Magic was not muted, so can still cause a little bit of havoc for our team.
Yeah, like I said, Elastoid had everything. He had Doom, he had the Golem, he had the Fenrir, he had the Mute. I mean, it was just, everything just clicked together for Elastoid. Again, our winner for this restream at 1:16:27, an amazing time, best time so far on the ladder. Here comes the quarters out. That's been the main problem for Sid going into the final part of it. Only hitting Strago this time. Here comes the spells. Sometimes it's not the final hit that causes it. Nope, that was the faults, and there's the second quarter coming through. It is going to hit more people this time. Oof. Still going. A third quarter.
Ouch.
The thing about quarter is it does not kill you. It just takes a lot of your health away.
Yeah.
And there he goes.
Oh, makes it through into tier 3, but is in a bit of rough shape. So we've
Yeah,
got
it doesn't even have Edgar for health either.
Yeah, we've got to hope that there's no Merton coming off the queue immediately.
Yeah, Merton or Wildwind for that matter. Yeah, that's the question we're asking, Lester. We don't know if he has Megalix or not. We have not seen him use it, so I don't think he has one. Because he didn't fight Magic Master, here comes the Whirlwind, and he didn't get by it in the store. There was 2 or 3 stores that had only hitting Strago down to 3 HP.
Schwann's asking in chat if Magic casts 4 quarters, does he cast whole? No, if he has 4 quarters, he's played an entire football game.
Getting the sports references.
What can I say? I like my sports ball.
Well, let's hope we don't get any procs from the Illuminas, because that's what heals the girl in the back. Currently, she is at around 7,000 HP. There's a pummel to the face. Shock's always a good ability, non-elemental ability, so that can go through to hit girl. But does hit sleep in the front there, so you want to be a little careful of that. Here comes Wildwind again. I believe this is going to take out 2 of the characters. Strago down to 1 HP. Never mind, that's right. It's a damage. Doesn't kill everybody. It's just low. Gets people to low HP. There goes Strago.
I think that's the lowest I've ever seen a Pearlwind heal. Girl healed everybody for 40.
So that means she's around 80 right now.
Yep.
So just one more hit. Just hit her. Calmness. Hello. Oh, interesting. So calmness goes off. So only the girl is up? That's interesting. Wildman only going to the Terra Strago, possibly. Only into Strago, down to 146 HP. Elixir backup for Terra. Aura Bolt should be the finishing blow. Oh no, he's still up. Okay, I'm confused because I saw Calmus come out.
Yeah, I think girl's calmness causes sleep, and then the other calmness just murders things.
Weird. I've not seen that. I've seen Calmus come out early like that.
Yeah, it's kind of an oddity there.
Yeah. Remember, mantra, RLXY. Because for those of you that don't do suplexing, you wouldn't know what XY is.
Alright, so looks like doubling up on the protection again with the image and the golem blocking, so again, can't be too secure in a way.
Now, Sid definitely is taking this fight slow, keeping the girl up, I guess, to prevent media from going off. And getting her at really low health, so now she's at 160 health right now. Here comes Trine, which is going to silence and blind everybody but Terra. I guess we can say now that Terra has ribbon on her.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense given what we'd seen earlier. And
Here comes Calmness out, that's a block. There goes Girl, and there we go. So that was really interesting, having Girl just hang in by a thread there to keep off the Medios, and then move on in the final Kefka here. That was really interesting.
Yeah. That was a good way to do the strategy, because, I mean, one of the biggest problems we've seen, as you mentioned before, is the lack of healing.
Yeah, it's interesting. You could just kill Girl, just flat out kill her, wait till you hear the sound of it, then maybe use life on her, bring her back up to very low HP possibly, and then finish off Sleep. That'd be a very interesting strategy if that might work. It's the remedy experience.
Well, let's see how this try goes. We'll be rooting for Sid to get this on the third attempt.
Yep, so the strat right now, I guess, is to have, so here we'll see if he has, so again, I do not think he has, Mega Elixirs. So, because once again, he's down to 1 HP on everybody. And his strat is to quick lock for a double Illumina hit, this time he gets a proc off, to try to just blast Kefka down before he gets Havoc Wings out and stuff. And use Strago just for heals, item heals. There comes the Havoc Wing, misses the Terra because of the blur effect here. No life 3, so no protection on dying. On Terra at least. There's the Hyperdrive, so that's definitely going to be a dead Strago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like just looking through the item inventory as we're seeing it being used, it does not seem as though there was any, or there were any Mega Elixirs.
So here comes the life 2 out from the Terror onto the Strago, bring him back up to full HP. That is a roundabout way of doing it. Currently not attacking Kefka, waiting for the charge up. There is the charge up for Gunner. Okay, so that is a tactic by smashing your face in with the Lumina and then bring yourself back up on life 2. So that's one way to survive Gunner.
Yeah, I mean, when you have no other healing strategy, I guess that's kind of just what you gotta do.
So Terra will definitely go down with this. Not sure if Shadow will go down or not, but Lock and Struggle should survive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when Donner had hit, I think the think it was the first time. I'd seen it was about 1200 damage on Locke and Strago, so yeah, I figured it was probably going to work out. But let's see. Let's hope that now that Sid has gotten through that first goner, hopefully we can see more damage come out and try to take Kefka down for good this time. We get a
Ooh,
get
that's a
ourselves
good pro proc.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That should do it. Nope, almost.
Oh, getting there, getting close. And that's it.
There we go. Whew. I got scared there for a second. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
another 5,000 on that.
GG's to Sid for sticking it out, finishing with a time of 2 hours, 20 minutes, 16 seconds. So, whew, that was something else. Third time's the charm. All right, looks like Sid has jumped into the waiting room, so let's pull him over. Well, pull him in, I guess. So, GG, Sid, congratulations. It took you 3 tries, but that third try was the charm, so definitely GG's on sticking it out.
Thanks.
Pull him in, I guess. So,
Yeah, way to hang in there, buddy. So overall, what'd you think of the seed?
So it was kind of weird because at the very beginning, it was all the tower bosses like Goddess, Poltergeist, Doom. I ran into all of them except for Guardian, and came across the Luminas pretty early. It's like, yeah, and then I didn't save and hit Magic Master in the Floating Continent. It's like, okay, I'm behind, but I can get back. Yeah, it went smooth from there until Kefka's Tower.
Yeah, we saw that in Kefka's Tower. We saw you run through it a couple times, and obviously you had to reset twice, but not having the Mega Elixir, then figuring out a very different way of getting around that.
Yeah, so my initial plan was quick past the Fallen One, which I did on the second attempt. It just didn't line up properly on the first and third attempt. And then I was going to pass around the Fire Shield, but because everyone had Illuminas, they're very hard to hit with magic. Because I had Fire 3 on Shadow, I think.
Yeah, that's something I didn't have. I didn't have any Fire 3 or Lit 3s or anything on my run. So,
Natural Magic on one, I think, was how we got that one.
But I was really talking about how, like, killing your own characters to give life to maximize their health to get through the goners that was hurting you. That was a very interesting way of going about that, though.
That was my only reliable source of healing, because I had 2 elixirs, and that was it. I had no explosions, no... I think I had a meat or dried meat or something. Nothing major besides those 2 elixirs. And so I had to save them for, tier 3 shenanigans and Kefka.
Speaking of tier 3, we were noticing the strategy that you had, and I don't know if you'd intended to do this on the third run, but you left Girl up with a teensy tiny amount of XP or HP, and then went after the second part of the boss to make sure that none of the Meteos were going through. Was that anything that you had planned on doing, or was it something when you noticed that she didn't have very much HP, you just kind of went with it?
Yeah, I was sort of counting hers and the other one, because, it's only 9999. And when she was, like, sub 100, and I was pretty sure she was sub 100, because the Pearl went off, and it's like, oh, yeah, she's definitely sub 100.
Right.
I changed strategies, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to play it super duper safe, and just finish her off with a shock at the end. Which I think I just did a melee even, because the bottom died before I was expecting it to. I thought it had about 1,000 more health than that.
Well, it ended up working out well for you, so we were sort of admiring that strategy a little bit in chat. I think you might have inspired some of the runners watching tonight to start trying that themselves.
It ain't easy to pull off, but when it lines up like that, it's nice to take advantage of it.
Yeah, indeed. One thing we do want to ask and point out is that, well, a couple of our other runners, like, actually marveled at your run last week or 2 weeks ago of knowing that you had a blitzer early, doing the experience egg, and getting bum rush before going to KT, which was one of the big things that helped Elastoid out at 1 minute and 16 seconds, 1 hour 16 minutes and 27 seconds for the seed. You did not get the bum rush. Did that something you just forgot to do, or?
Nope, that was the plan initially because I slapped Strigo with the experience egg immediately when I found it, and once I got the Illuminas, I also had an Illumina find on that last race with the bum rush, and I kind of got chastised for not just holding A, because bum rush apparently is slightly less damage. So I thought I'd go with that strategy this time.
Oh, Elastoid was doing quad nines every single time he used it because Strago magic damage that went hand in hand there. So
yeah, I seriously considered it until I found easy access Illuminas and I had money to buy 3 of them. So I just I wanted the Illumina user, at least Locke, someone to be, decently strong by the end, because the way it was going, I was expecting, kind of a level 30 Kefka tower again. And that is how it ended up with the rest of the characters. Except for Shadow, who face tanked the majority of the first of this seed.
yeah, we noticed Interceptor came through at the end for a lot of these.
Yeah. I just don't know what the boss, like, they were targeting him hard. All the first 4 bosses that I came across. Like, they all killed Shadow. And
Well,
I'd get him up and they'd kill him again.
They just didn't like the look of a ninja showing them up, I guess.
Yeah. That was one of those early frustrations that was relieved by the Illuminas, but it only goes so far,
That is very true. Anything else for you, Sid, that you want to make a note of?
No, I was super when I saw the duns at the end. It's like, oh, that was extremely close from everybody, and so it's like rats. That would have been very tight. And it just got some bad luck on Kefka. Couldn't quick pass the fallen one, and I'd already used both my elixirs. So, oh well.
Yeah, it was definitely a very good race because I think chat was mentioning the 3 of you, you, Schwantz, and Kitty, came into KT within about a minute of each other, and going up to the first final Kefka fight for you, I think the difference was still right around a minute leading into it. So it was, yeah, we were all sort of clinching a bit at that point.
Yeah, the same time you went down on that first Goner was the exact same time Swans finished. I mean, that's how close it was.
Yeah.
For you too. So and then Kitty only was like another 50 seconds before that. So it was a very close there.
That'll be a fun one to watch back. It's a shame I added half hour to that, but hopefully it was entertaining to watch.
Well, that just shows your determination to trying to get through the seed and get it done. So kudos to you on that.
Thanks.
And yeah, definitely GG's. Thank you for coming out and agreeing to be restreamed with us. We definitely appreciated the entertainment. And just think you gave us another half hour of glorious Worlds Collide to view. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Hey, nothing at all. All right, well, thank you, GG. Have a good rest of your night, and I'm sure we'll see you around soon.
GG's.
GG, buddy. All right, that is going to wrap things up for us tonight. Again, we want to thank the racers tonight, which was Newt Kitty, Elastoid, Shadow Sid, and Swans27. Go follow them on their Twitch channels, please, and thank you again for that. Also want to thank Brianna for restreaming, doing the tracking, Naku also doing the tracking, myself, Saberwolf, and Kurant doing the commentary for you all. If you also want to follow or try out the these World Collides, also to do the randomizer for Final Fantasy 3 or 6, whichever generation you're a part of, head over to ff6wc.com. Make sure you have the emulator there to plop it in and do your own randomization.
Yeah, and thank you all for coming out tonight. We definitely greatly appreciate it. And I guess we'll go ahead and end it now. Thank you all for tuning into Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Ladder Week 5 tonight. And just bear in mind also, we've got ourselves another tournament coming up. So join the Discord, go and race the seeds, and you are more than welcome to come join us for any of these community races or tournaments that we put on. Everybody is welcome. So for my co-com Saberwolf and everybody in the booth, I'm Karant. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we hope y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.